My name is Petar Vasilev. I'm National Program Officer for Governance in Serbia, and SDC cooperates with State Audit Institution in Serbia. So I'll start with a bold statement of our General Auditor. There is a strong link between government efficiency and institutional role, professionalism, and effectiveness of Supreme Auditor of the public funds. The government is as effective, efficient as its General Auditor is. So in Serbia, they are perceived as keeper of Serbia's public resources. They were established by the law, recognized by the constitution, and it's a parliamentary model of a state audit institution if we refer to Natalie's presentation. So from the start, they grew from one person to 700 to over 700 employees, which tells something about importance of their job for the whole system and the country. They have well absorbed international assistance. They were supported by various donors, and they have big job to audit 14,000 public fund beneficiaries. They also invest a lot in adhering to the international standards, and we partly support them in this. There is a sort of organigram. We could also add some other actors like anti-corruption agency or judiciary here, but it's more or less something which was already presented before. They report to the parliament and have mandate from the parliament to oversee, to audit government expenditures. And the parliament, when they get information from the state audit, they basically conduct an oversight in a parliamentary subcommittee. We still are not at this stage where the parliament at plenary sessions examine auditors' reports. It's still too sensitive to do that. There was one or two attempts in the past, but didn't happen. So they're an independent government body. Their budget is approved by the parliament. They dispose of soft measures like recommendations, but they also can file charges, which is a sort of hard power that they have at their disposal. Why have we engaged with SAI? We actually wanted to increase the legitimacy of local governments, so we talked to the state auditor, asking what do you need to increase the frequency and quality of external audits of the local governments. So they wanted from us to support them in training new staff, but also in applying better international standards. So we mainly provide technical support. Also, there is intention of the state auditor to switch from financial audits to performance audits and leave the financial audits to internal auditors in municipalities. But not many municipalities have currently internal audits. And we also support this link between the Ministry of Finance, who is certifying internal auditors, and the state audit institution. So we support this interface and exchange towards this basically enabling of internal auditors to do their job, so state audit can focus on performance audits more. The job that state audit does is very important because they come up with recommendations to local governments. And most of the local governments, when they get recommendations, they improve their way of business. And we have noted that in revisited municipalities, because state audit is able to come to a municipality once in 4 years. Maybe bigger municipalities like City of Belgrade, they examine every year, but smaller ones, they come once in 4 years. And when they repeat their visit, they have seen that many of the recommendations have helped the government, local government, to improve the way they operate and respect the law more and execute public finances in line with this with procedures. So that was basically our angle of intervention: engage with SAI, with the state audit, but actually work on the legitimacy of local governments. And the main rationale is basically that the major part of SDC portfolio, governance portfolio in Serbia, is related to local governments, not to central institutions. I've been to an interesting seminar where we invited the state audit institution to talk about their work at the local level. So this is an example of abandoned infrastructure for a public swimming pool. And what is funny is that the same local government built a new pool just 400 meters close to this one, with new funds from somewhere. So for this abandoned infrastructure, funds were used from 3 different levels: central, provincial, and local funds. And the risk was highest here because it's more difficult to trace from different sources the funding. And it didn't end really successfully. So state audit had to file charges for misuse of public funds. Now, what would be the risks for operation of state audit institution? At least what we see. First one is that it's not really taken that seriously by the parliament. It should be on a much higher level. So there is currently low capacity of the parliament to debate auditors' reports and to analyze them. So we are working with the state audit also to produce more reader-friendly reports for parliamentarians to make this use even easier for them. And of course, there is also the risk of integrity. It's still, their budget is approved by the parliament, but in the parliament, 2/3 of the parliament are controlled by a ruling coalition. So it's a majority rule, and I mean, I think I have the impression that state audit still has to balance their audits and they're not able to fully implement their mandate. This is the impression, but maybe doing an analysis like Natalie suggested would really reveal where the gaps. So another risk is, of course, there's still 14,000 public fund beneficiaries, and the state auditor is not really able to visit everyone. And they're operating on a form of risk matrix. They're looking where is the highest risk of funds being misused, and then they target these institutions. So that's it. I'm here for any questions. Thank you.